Hello friends, this is lesson 19th of Big Data Hadoop with Python. In today's lecture we are going to cover the following topics. It means we are talking about Apache Spark with Python. So first we have to know what is Spark, installing and configuring Spark, then what is PySpark API, then how to write the first Spark script or program and how to run it. Now let's start with the first topic and understand what is Spark. So here Apache Spark is a high performance distributed computing framework which enables you to process big data with high level and easy to use APIs. So this is the definition for Spark. From this definition you can easily understand that it is used for processing big data, the data whose size is big or large size data. In another feature of Spark which makes the Spark so important is high performance, right? And it is a high performance distributed computing framework which enables you to process big data. So this high performance is actually Spark calling card. So about this high performance we will talk later in next lecture, but here you have to understand that it is a high performance framework, right? So many companies still rely on MapReduce for processing their workloads, but many of them or a lot of them are already migrated their applications to Spark. So why? Because of this high performance. Still people are using MapReduce also for processing their data. It means Hadoop cluster, but many of them have already migrated their applications to Spark. So you may think that Hadoop or Spark is actually the alternative for Hadoop, or Hadoop is the alternative for Spark. That is not the case, because here actually this Hadoop is a uniquely qualified environment for running Spark jobs. So although you can run Spark on other computing frameworks also, such as Mesos, you can run it on Hadoop cluster or you can run it on other frameworks like Mesos. It is not like Hadoop and Spark are alternative to each other, they are not alternative. But many companies nowadays they are using Spark, and that is because of its high performance, right? Now by running Spark on Hadoop, you can use the same Hadoop cluster, friends, and the same data for running both MapReduce and also Spark jobs. So on the same data, on the same cluster, you can run both MapReduce programming model and also you can run Spark. So the difference, you know that the difference is Spark is a high performance framework, and you know this is also used for processing the data. It is a programming model which is built in Hadoop cluster or Hadoop software whenever you are installing it. So now let's see how to install and configure Spark. So for installing, what we have to do the same what we did with Hadoop, Hadoop, Pig, Hive, Thereby, if you remember, all those applications we installed. So the same way we have to first go to our group user, which is called HD user. In there we will create a directory called Spark. So how to do that? Let me open the terminal by pressing Ctrl Alt T. So here we have the terminal. This is the terminal. So what we have to do, first I have to connect to my user called HD user. So here I have to provide the password, cd, and I am in this directory right now. So what I have to do, I have to change the directory and go to this directory, user local, and there I have to create a new directory called Spark. So for that I am using cd, it means change directory, then user, then we have local, right? See friends, I have already installed these things. Thereby is there, Hadoop is there, Hive is there, Pig is there. So in the same path, I have to create a new directory called Spark. How to do that? I'm using cd sudo make dir or directory, and name I'm giving as Spark. So the password, yeah. Now else a new directory is created called Spark, right? Here let's see the second step. The second step is sorry, this is not thereby, this is Spark. So installing Spark, how to do that? For installing Spark, first we have to go to apache.org website, and from there we can download the software, I mean this application software Spark, and then we can install it. One thing you have to remember, friends, the compatibility of Spark with your Hadoop, that is so much important. There you can choose the version of your Hadoop, and also based on the version of Hadoop you can choose the version of Spark. If you go to the website, there they will give you the choices, what is the version of Hadoop, and then what will be the version, the Spark, which is compatible with your Hadoop. So in this case, in our case here, if I go and type here like Hadoop version, so it is showing me the version of my Hadoop is actually, it is Hadoop version 2.60. So that is why this is the version of Hadoop for me, and this is the Spark version which is compatible for that. So I have downloaded already this version and it is on my desktop. Just I will browse to desktop. From here I will say cd, then cd I will go to home directory, bit1, and there it's desktop, right? Here if I put ls, it is showing me, yeah, the software is downloaded, it is on this desktop. So what I'm going to do, I'm just extracting the files here by using this command sudo tar. I take the copy and paste it here. Before I will clear the screen, and here I will paste it, and then I will say okay, Spark. It is detecting, and now press enter, it will extract the files here. So now we have another directory, this one. I have to change the directory and go to this new directory by saying cd Spark. Now I am in this directory. Here I will clear the screen and put ls here. These are the files within this directory. Within this directory, if you can, you will see all these files here. Now what we have to do, I have to move all these files from this directory to the new directory what we created already there, this directory and this path, right? So how can we do that? This is the command we have to use. I'm using and here I have to paste it, but this time, sorry, here also it is Spark. So what I say, you move all the files from this directory to the new directory what we created called Spark, and this path user local, right? So press enter, all the files are moved. Now if you put ls, there is nothing because it is empty, the files are already moved to the new directory. Now I will come to the root. Here I will clear the screen and then see the next step. So the next step, what is here, we have to configure the file which is called this bash file here, and just open this file and paste these two lines there, these two lines, right? So how can we do that? I will use here sudo, and then I have to use this sign, then slash, then bash, or have to use gedit because I want to edit this. So here we have this, the file is opened. You come to the last line here. So we have already these things, the home directory for Hive, the home directory for Pig, the home directory for Thereby. So here I will write the home directory for Spark, right? I will copy these lines from here, these two lines, and paste it there. That's all. Control C, and here I will come and paste it. Control V, right? So see here what I said. This is the home directory user local, and there is a directory called Spark. Save the file and then close it. Now the next step is we have to activate the changes what we brought there. So for activating the changes, you take the copy of this source and then paste it here, and then it will be activated. Error is not there. Now the next step is the final step here. We have to open the PySpark shell. From any directory we can open it, and here we have two options. The first option is PySpark if you are working with Python. If you are working with Scala, so for that you have to type Spark dash shell. So this will open the Scala API for you. If you are typing this one PySpark, this will open Python shell for you, the interface, this one, right? So because we are working with Python, I will type this one. Right now here you type it and you press whether the configuration is corrected or not. It will show us here right now. Yeah friends, here the installation and configuration is successfully completed. Here it is showing me the version of my Python. This is the version, and this is the version of Spark, right? So here we can work with Spark just by typing this one. It will open Python API for us for working. This, you know that this is Python shell or Python API. You can type your Python code here and that will be executed just by pressing the enter key. Here also it is showing us the Python version, and here also you can see Python version, and this is the version of Spark, right? So this is the way. Just by, if you want to come back to Ubuntu screen or terminal, for that you press here Control Z. So we are right now here. If you want to type this one, then this will bring for us the Scala shell. Those who are good in Scala, they can use Scala, or those who are good in Python, they can use Python, and they can write the script and execute the script using Python or Scala. So see friends, this is the version of Scala here, and this is the version of Spark, right? So again, if you go to the terminal, press Ctrl Z, and now you are here. It means here the installation is completed successfully, so there is no problem. Now let's see the next step. What we have here, we have to know about what is PySpark API. API means application programming interface. It is actually an interface which creates the relation between our program, which we have written source program, and our predefined libraries what we have there. So it is just creating the relationship. So PySpark is Spark's Python API. So PySpark allows Spark applications to be run or created from an interactive shell or from Python programs. So it is just creating the relationship between Spark application and your Python program. So that is why if you are working in Python, so you have to type this one. It is just creating the relationship between Spark applications and your Python program. So before executing any code within Spark, the application must create a Spark context objects. This is very much important, friends. If you want to use Spark Spark program, in Spark programs you want to call the methods, all those things. First of all, what you have to do, you have to create the object of this one, Spark context. This is a constructor, or this is a class. Those who are good in programming, they understand what I am saying. So this is a class, and for this class we have to create an object, and through that object then we can call all the methods or members of this class. So that is why it is important. First we have to create the object of this it is also a constructor, so we have to create this constructor, or we have to create the object of this one. Then through the object we can call and we can use all those methods or functions in our program. So the Spark context object tells Spark how and where to access the class type. And one thing else here what we have is the master property. So what is this master property? Is a cluster URL that determines where the Spark application will run. This is very much important. Here friends, you can see I say Spark, then submit you have to write, and here you have to write the name of your program with the extension. Since we are writing the program in Python, so the extension is py. So this is Spark script py. So before that, what I am typing here, I have to use this master. So what is this master? It is actually a clustered URL that determines where the Spark application will run. Here you can write, if you are running the script here, this script if you are running is locally, so you have to type here local. If you want to run it on cluster, so here you have to provide the port number, all those details and full path, then it will run on the cluster. Since I am running it here locally, what I am typing here local, right? So before that you are writing master, and before master you have to type this one, Spark submit, and then here you type the script followed by the extension. To execute self-contained applications, they must be submitted to the Spark submit script. This is important. Whatever script you are writing, so that first has to be submitted to Spark submit. Let us see and run the first program. How can we run? So this is the first program, friends. What we have to do, I will open the terminal here. We are already, I will clear the screen. So let me see, okay, print working directory here. Now I'm in root. I will say change directory, go to home of HD user. So here we have these programs which we have already written. I will create a directory here by saying okay, sudo make dir, and then I say let it be Spark, right? I will go to the new directory. See, this is the Spark directory created. I will go to my this new directory by saying okay, cd Spark. So what I'm going to do, I will create the first script, Spark script here, sudo gedit, and then I will say Spark underscore, I will say script.py, right? Because it is Python program, it will open this file for us, and I will take the copy of this code from here and paste it there. And now I will explain it for you, friends. So see, this is the first step which is so much important. This is the constructor, this is the class. First we have to import this class. Where it is within this package. I say from this package you import this class, Spark context. Why? Because we have to create the object of that. So this what is the object, this is the name for Spark context. So Spark context is equal to the Spark context. So I will create an object for this one. Since I am using locally, I give here local, then this is the title for my application, right? So after that, what we have to do, we have to create RDD. So what is this RDD? It is resilient distributed data set. We will discuss these things in next lecture, but here we will create RDD, and for RDD what I am saying, I am using the object in calling this method parallelize. So what does this parallelize method do here? So this is actually creating a collection. This is a collection. It is creating a collection which can be okay accessed, distributed on multiple nodes. Here this method is creating a collection, this collection or distributed collection which can be accessed or processed on multiple nodes. This is the function of this parallelize function. That is why I have called through. So this is the object. Through the object I am calling the method. So this method is within this class. It is a member of that class. That is why I am accessing that through the object. And after that, so RDD is created. So what we have to do, we have to use here RDD, then collect. This is another function which will return all these values to the driver. It is like if you want to display or dump everything on the screen. So for that purpose we will be using this collect here. And then after that we have to stop here the Spark context, here we have to use the stop function also. So this is the code, the first script, and that is the name. I save it, and now let's see how to execute this. So for executing this, the same what we have to do, this one we have to use, right? I come here, I will clear the screen, and then I will say Spark, then we have submit. I hope spelling is correct. Submit, and then we have to use master here, and then local, and then after that I have to use the name, that is Spark script. Just press enter and you will see the output. Yeah friends, this is the output, programming languages, right? And these are the programming languages, and that was my collection called C, C++, Java. These things we put in the program, if you remember. See here, this is the program, and this is the collection, right? These are the number of list of languages, and here I printed them, and this message will come before that. So what we have here, right? Programming languages, then what we have here, C, C++, all those things. So this is the way, and this is the first program what we did. So I hope you understood all these things, friends. We wrote a simple program for that, and before that we explained what is PySpark API and how to install and configure Spark, and then we talked about Spark, which is a high performance distributed computing framework which is actually designed or developed for processing big data, right? And this high performance is Spark colon. We will talk about this one in the next lecture, why it is called high performance and how it is high performance framework. I hope you understood all these things, friends. Thanks.